I'm Jeff Huns. He's Bill Thorpe. Good morning, Denver.
Is it really Monday? I need to speak to the manager.
Billy and I had a great weekend together.
Yeah, we did.
Spent our Saturday afternoon hanging out at the Castle Rock Starlighting.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a lot of fun. That was fun. That was neat to see the kids. We were over on the festival stage, which is where a lot of the choirs and little dance groups and a young rock band was playing as well. That was the final act that we had to introduce, a little band called Trainwreck, that a bunch of teenagers that are sponsored by the Musician's Den. That was kind of cool. That was a nice little surprise.
Well, you did a great intro.
Yeah, gave them the rock and roll stage
gentlemen.
intro. Yeah.
Are you ready to rock Castle Rock?
Yeah.
And I bet those kids had never been introduced that way.
Yeah,
so
we gave them the traditional rock band stage announcements that I've done before. So that was kind of fun. That was neat, and I chatted with the little kids a little bit earlier about what their influences were. Here's the thing that was rough for me, though, is so I'm chatting with them, and again, they're teenagers, barely teens, and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and talking to them about music. What's your influences? And they're like, yeah, we like classic rock. And I start running through bands. I'm like, yeah, I've seen all those bands live, and all those songs you're talking about. I was there when they were new, when they were new singles. I'm like, wow, I feel old. But it was great. It was great to see the kids getting up on stage, and so many little dance groups. Oh my gosh, there were a couple of them, little tiny kids up there dancing. That was adorable. Doing chipmunks, Christmas songs.
Yeah, there was ballet. There was hip hop.
There's the portions of the. There's the Castle Rock. What's the Nutcracker at Castle Rock or something? Yeah, that they perform, and so they did a segments of the ballet, and they're all really good. Yeah, it was kind of cool. And of course, wandering around and just seeing the people. That was neat. It was a neat event, and we appreciate it. It was cool, and you got to see some friends too while you were there.
It was, but I always found it fun that out of everybody there.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, nobody cared about Jeff and Bill.
No, not at all. Nor should they. No. But again, we were just there, honestly, just every 45 minutes to stand up there and say, hey, we do this radio show, come listen to us. That's all it is. It's great for your publicity, and it's wonderful to help out and just to transition stage.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was
lots of families. It's like really cool. Out of a Hallmark movie. It really Starlight.
Is. Yeah, it really is. And it's neat that people come dressed up as well. I mean, I saw one family right as I was leaving where all of them were wearing the same thermal footy pajamas. Mom, dad, and the kids. And they were Christmas themed. Like, they were red, white, green, and had a reindeer on them and stuff. And I'm like, that's awesome. And Mom had a trucker hat on that also featured reindeer antlers. I'm like, y'all went all out. And again, I got to give them props because not only did they all do matching footy pajama thermal pajamas, but it's cold. And so they had dressed for the weather as well. I mean, they did a twofer on that one. That's a family that knew what they were doing. Yeah, they threw it down right. It was kind of cool. It was neat.
Well, thank you so much to the City of Castle Rock, the Chamber of Commerce, for allowing us to be a part of that. They did an absolutely wonderful job, and we enjoyed it. Had a great time. It was so much fun to see everybody. So thank you to those that said hi to us. We got a lot to talk about today. Matt Crane, Executive Director of the Colorado County Clerks Association, is going to join us. They have put together a letter, Mr. Thorpe.
Yes.
To Governor Polis.
Yeah.
And basically said, nope, keep Tina Peters in prison, and we want to meet with you before you make any decisions. So we're going to talk all about this. He's going to join us live in studio. So if you have questions, text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line 720-819-5115 or call us at 303-696-1971. MTG resigning.
That
came about quick.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
I thought she was on the Liz Cheney road to irrelevancy in the political world simply because you have to have a home in politics. The homeless don't tend to do so well.
No.
And what I mean by that is if you don't have a party, a base, a group that's going to support you, political leadership that's going to support you, if you don't have that, well, you're kind of out wandering in the wilderness. She decided at that point it's time to resign. So we'll get into that in the 8 o'clock hour. Colorado's birth rate declining quite strongly, actually, by 2047. Well, more people dying than being born in the state of Colorado. We'll get into that. Plus, Mom Donnie heading to the White House. Want to hear from you about all of this. Join the conversation. Again, the phone number 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for news and comment. Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend. 33 and clear in Denver, expecting a high of 57 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, it's one of the busiest travel weeks of the year, and state transportation officials urging patients on the roads. AAA projecting more than 80 million Americans are going to travel over the next few days. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, Denver native, expected to plead not guilty to federal charges today. He's accused of helping lure players unaware of what was going on into rigged poker games. The indictment alleges the games were financed by organized crime families. A man has died after police believe he was struck by 3 vehicles, 2 of which fled while he was in a crosswalk on Tower Road in Aurora on Thursday night. Witnesses found Leonard Dawson Jr. lying in the roadway at a signal-controlled crosswalk on the unnamed Creek Trail at South Tower Road.
This street right here, this is like the main street they be racing on all the time. So it's stay fast cars coming by all day, all night, all the time.
Stephen Carter, who was close to the victim, said people race on the road all the time. He was taken to the local hospital where he later died. The pedestrian may have been hit by 3 separate vehicles. The first 2 reportedly left the scene while the driver of the third remained and has been cooperating with investigators.
Hey, Blake, I don't want you to worry, though. Phil Weiser will probably sue the president about something else, too.
Exactly. I won't worry now.
I mean, we're only the number 2 most dangerous state in the nation.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
got to get those lawsuit numbers against Trump up.
No doubt, and I'll feel safe at night. I'll be able to sleep because of that, because of Weiser. Thank you. What a great last name, by the way. So appropriate for him, right? DJT maintaining his criticism for Democratic lawmakers, including Colorado's Jason Crow. That reminded military members to ignore unlawful orders. In a pair of posts over the weekend, Trump said those lawmakers should be in jail right now, amen, and that it was sedition at its highest level. Efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine war are playing out overseas. Ukrainian President Zelensky says the biggest problem with the U.S.-led peace talks in Geneva has to do with land. Zelensky told the Swedish parliament today that legally recognizing and giving up land to Russia would violate the principle of sovereignty and territorial integrity. 47 has given Ukraine less than a week to agree to a 28-point plan that calls for Kiev to cede territory to Russia and limit the size of their military. The holiday season is getting underway at the White House. Later on today, First Lady Melania Trump will take delivery of the Blue Room Christmas tree, picked this year from Michigan. Also happening this week, DJT will pardon a couple of turkeys from North Carolina in the annual Thanksgiving tradition.
The turkeys' names are Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, see if you can
yes, they are.
work that in there somehow, right?
I love that.
Yeah, man.
That would be fun.
I think they would take Bill's call, wouldn't they, at the White House?
Oh, absolutely. That's just to arrest me. They would try to deport me.
I love it, man. I'm sure Crowley could work out something on social media with the turkeys with your names on it when that comes up this week. Avs in Chicago on Sunday.
We've seen in Nashville. Goofy back. Turnover. Neil Wilson holds and looks and shoots. Saved by Knight. Shot by McCarr. He scores! Cale McCarr!
Yes, 1-zip Colorado, 9 straight victories. Scott Wedgwood, his first shutout. All right, Shedeur Sanders with his first NFL start for the
Looking good.
Browns. Hey, the Browns win at 24-10, and I will credit him. He managed it well. Two of the absolute worst teams I've watched in a long time. One of the worst football games I've ever watched. It's just horrible. The NFL is horrible. You know what? He may have been right earlier when he told reporters in Cleveland that, have you looked at the quarterbacks in the NFL? I could play better than them. You know what? Yeah, I think he was right.
Do you see that he set a record?
What was
somewhat.
that record?
Not necessarily a record, but he set a new mark at for the Browns. He is the very first Browns quarterback to win his first NFL career start since 1995. Eric Zaire.
Zaire.
It ends a 17-game losing streak for the Browns in games where a QB is making their first career start, the longest streak of any franchise since 1950. When QB starts were first started to be recorded. We don't have a report. We don't have records after that. So, yeah, the Browns have been the worst at a starting QB, making their opening debut and losing.
That is incredible.
Yes,
Did you see
17
that
times.
other start since 1994? I asked my younger son, and he was one off on it. I could not believe it. Since 1994. Do you know how many starting quarterbacks the Browns have had?
Oh, God, it's got to be like 25, 26, somewhere in there.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, maybe 30.
Yeah.
45.
Oh, God, that's crazy.
Whoa!
That is crazy.
45.
That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Okay, so Shedeur, here's the post game, and I credit him, man. He's being humbled. He's saying the right things. So, hey, I give credit where credit is due.
For me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. You know, everybody's not in the everybody's not in the best situation, you know, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choice, there's no question. Nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? You know, so a lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't going to happen.
Okay. That's what he said. See,
That
his problem.
throw on the run when he was
Yeah,
going out to the right.
Best, yeah, that's a big
that
throw,
was
big
awesome.
play. That was. He had a couple of them. I mean, Stefanski and their coordinator, their offensive coordinator, did a good job putting him in positions where he would be successful. He got rid of the ball, kept everything underneath for the most part. They ran a lot on second downs, first and second downs. That was key. But they play the Niners coming up. That's an actual football team.
Yes.
God, the Raiders are they are horrible. I mean, I don't see how the old man now, what's his name? Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Pete Carroll, the coach.
Yeah, I don't see how he survives. Come on, they got to fire him like today.
Yes.
They are horrible.
Now,
really
Blake, did you see this article in the Gazette about all the fake Broncos news that's coming on Facebook?
No, I haven't.
There's this group on Facebook that just makes up random Broncos news.
No
all
way.
the time.
Facebook? On
Facebook, right? Like the one that
Really?
Wade Phillips died.
Oh wow! I didn't.
Or that
I'm
there was
never
going
on
to be
Facebook,
there was going to be a Charlie Kirk memorial at the Broncos Stadium that Von Miller signed a 1-year deal, and they've made it like it's called Denver Broncos Fans.
Oh,
and
really?
they make the news look like it's legit, but it's just like superstar Cortland Sutton was surprised when Taylor Swift personally asked him to perform an exclusive song for the Denver Broncos. It's just totally random stuff. ABC News anchor suspended after Bo Nix of the Broncos exposes his private comments.
I don't know if I want to look at
Denver
it, but
Broncos
it sounds
hires
kinda...
Tim Allen and Tim Tebow to produce the Thanksgiving halftime show. And they've even
That's
gotten into the
awesome.
Nuggets. LeBron breaks into tears. The shocking truth behind Jokic's $10 million donation.
Wow.
Like random stuff.
What's the name of it again?
Bo Nix rejects $10 million offer on his luxury home. It's all like totally random stuff that the
crazy.
Denver Gazette gets into. And there are different Facebook groups called like Denver Broncos fans, Orange Crush Nation, Denver Nuggets fans. And it is not true at all. But it's all produced in a way that makes it look like it. This is actually legit. So
Well, there you go.
Wade Phillips still alive.
If you want Wade, oh, geez, man, they so if you need to you need a laugh, then you go to that.
I guess so,
Right?
but I think
So
you get a
there's
lot
your
of people that
comedy.
think it's true.
No credibility. So they had to destroy their credibility so we could enjoy all these creative headlines from here on out. Right. Let me write the name. What's the name of it again?
Go to the DenverGazette.com. It's one of their top articles yesterday.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's a whole bunch of them, like Denver Broncos fans, orange and blue and orange pride.
Well,
And people are texting in saying they do this for every team, actually.
oh, did they? Man, they're hard at work, aren't they?
Have you seen
Man.
this thing on X where they're exposing everybody's location?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen this? This was
No.
like all over on the
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
So you can now go see where people are from on X, on their accounts, and they're realizing, like, on both sides, like, crazy MAGA stuff is coming from outside the country, and crazy
from bots
and from like, Russian countries or Eastern European countries, Indonesia, things like that, and then anti-MAGA stuff. It's like exposing like how much we're getting played.
Wow, yeah, that does not surprise me because, well, even you and Billy talk about it all the time. The bots involved, and who knows where anything is coming from. Wow. Yeah, I kind of checked out this weekend. Sorry, guys. I came
Glad
back.
you did.
It was nice. I didn't pay attention to much at all, so I'm playing catch up here. It is 30 in Castle Pines, 31 in Lakewood, and 33 in Denver. And you're waking up with Jeff and Billy. Get your nicknames into Billy, okay? I love that. It is Monday morning, Thanksgiving week. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this early Monday. Some passing clouds this morning, temperatures around 35 by daybreak. For the rest of your Monday, mostly sunny skies, highs in the mid to upper 50s. A few clouds tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Tuesday and Wednesday, sunny, highs in the 40s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, did you see that meeting Friday with Mom Donnie and Trump?
Yeah, I did see
They
a
went to
little bit
blows.
of it. Yeah.
Actually, they didn't. It was
No,
the
they
exact
didn't.
opposite of that. It was
Yeah.
quite cordial. What'd you make of that?
That was interesting. I was surprised that there were not more fireworks. That was kind of strange, not really what's expected. And I think that after the meeting, both Mamdani supporters and Trump supporters were left with a lot of questions. And what I mean by that is why didn't they go at each other? Why was this so cordial? Why was this so, just it wasn't anything like some of the more contentious meetings. Donald Trump has spoke more harshly to reporters that are interviewing him than he did to his guest in the White House, given all the stuff that both of them have said about each other outside of that venue. And I saw a lot of politics being played and a lot of strategery, because Mamdani knows that in some ways he does need the support of, at least the White House or the feds in order to make things easier. And I think Trump, again, even though he lives at Mar-a-Lago, he still views himself in many ways, I feel, as a New York person or kid. And I don't think he necessarily wanted to burn as many bridges as we may have thought, right then and there. I think he was being a little more strategic. But I was surprised. I was surprised it did not devolve into a no, I know you are, but what am I kind of a meeting. I was surprised it didn't go there. How about you?
Have you ever seen those videos where the dogs bark really fiercely at each other on either side of a glass door?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then they open the glass door and they just kind of stare at each other?
Yeah, exactly. Happens at fences, too, with dogs. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes a good fence helps. That's kind of what I saw. You're a fascist. You're a communist. And then the door opens and they just kind of stand around. I give Trump credit. Look, Trump's a very likable person. He made it this far in his career, became president of the United States twice. Very successful TV show, very successful business by being likable. Mamdani got elected to the mayor of New York City by being likable. They know how to do it. And sometimes it just comes down to mood too. It's Friday. It's right before Thanksgiving. You're just in a good mood. So everybody's going to be nice.
Yeah,
that's how it can play out. But I'm sure the door is going to be shut. The fence will be put back up and they'll go right back to, you're a fascist, you're a communist.
Oh, yeah, they will. And they did over the weekend. I mean, Mamdani was back out on some social media saying, yeah, he's a fascist, etc. So they were being nice and polite while they were in the room together, but it wasn't necessarily, as nice and polite as we took it, as we look at it.
Let's go to Declan and Golden. Good morning, Declan. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
I just wanted to comment on exactly what you're talking about, the Mamdani-Trump meeting. I thought it was extremely kind of funny.
Yeah, why is that?
In what way?
I just thought, I thought it was funny how surprising it is, and how some people sometimes I'm on the left. I'm a younger person, but sometimes I feel like, and I've seen this opinion shared online, is that I feel like some people on the left, we understand Trump better than some of his own base. We know that. I mean, I feel like, and I imagine that you also know that, he's a media guy. He loves people who are good for the media, and that's what Zoran is. He's really great on camera. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think he is. Now, were you disappointed that there weren't more fireworks? If you're on the left, I would assume that you're a Mamdani guy, or listen, I'm not going to assume you're a Mamdani guy. I'm saying you're going to be more open to his message than you would be to Trump. I don't want to put you in that camp without knowing you any further. That's not fair. So I retract that. I'm sorry. So at least you've self-identified as a liberal, so you're probably more open to his language, his words, his perceptions. Were you disappointed that he wasn't going at Trump harder during that meeting?
I'm not going to say I'm super disappointed, because I think he did he is still just the mayor of New York, even though that is, or not, mayor-elect of New York City, which is still very important because it's our largest city and the central hub of, markets all across the planet. Yeah. But I think that it honestly does better for him and for the left as a whole that, nothing terrible happened, because people like at the very least, it shows people that, one, he's not this, Islamic, like, jihadist, terrorist, communist who's going to bring about, the liberation of all the workers around the world.
Yeah. Now,
Declan, like they've been saying about him for the past few months.
It's interesting you brought up that point about him being a jihadist. I find that very interesting and I appreciate that a lot, because that's kind of a secondary layer in what I saw in the conversation. Is Donald Trump basically refuted the narrative that Mamdani is a jihadist, that he's a declared jihadist, and he basically pushed back on that. And I found that striking, because that is the entire narrative of the New York State GOP. It's that Mamdani is a jihadist. How can we elect this jihadist? In fact, the GOP candidate, whose name I forget right now, who's running for governor, it has been calling him a jihadist 100%.
Stefanik?
Yeah, Stefanik. Yeah, Stefanik.
Yeah,
that's
he has
narrative.
called for a global intifada.
I know, but what I'm saying is that the New York GOP is saying he's a jihadist. He's a jihadist. And the guy that is up top of the pecking order of the GOP says, no, he's not. That's a different narrative. That's something that would be like Nancy Pelosi saying, maybe we shouldn't support all these trans athletes. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is a break in the narrative inside of the party that I found very interesting. I don't know what it means long term, but I thought it was very interesting that the base narrative of what's going on inside of New York, Trump didn't play along.
Declan, final word. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even more so is that you called me a liberal earlier. I consider myself more of a leftist. Like, when like in
That's
Oppenheimer, when they like, are you a communist? And he's like, I'm a New Deal Democrat. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see more of that like anti-Islam language, honestly, coming from the likes of like Andrew Cuomo in that race than obviously Curtis Sliwa, because he's like, which is crazy. Like, the Republican was more principled than just Andrew Cuomo, who everyone hates. And glad to see him lose. And I'm glad to see that he got to go to Trump and, get him to say that how FDR was great and they posed in front of the photo and all that.
Yeah, he got some wins. Now, Declan, we got to run here, but I got one question. Now, this isn't a fair question. I'm saying it's not fair because you didn't call it about this. I want to bring you into a conversation we are going to be having later on in this show, in our 9 o'clock hour, about the birth rate in Colorado. And we're seeing younger demographics not looking at getting married very early or even having kids. I want to say, just where you are, without talking to us about your relationship status or anything else, if we had to go to Vegas and we want to put odds on the fact that within 10 to 15 years, Declan is settled and having kids, what percentage do you put that at? Greater than 50% or less than 50%? Just what you see your life like right now and your plans. Next 15 years, married with kids, better than 50%, less than 50%, just in your opinion, Declan.
I think the range is 45 to 65.
45 for or 45 against?
45, like to your proposition.
Yeah.
What do you think if you think that will be the case, settle down, having kids? I'd say 45 to 65. I'd like to think it'd be on the greater than side. I'd like to think I have my stuff sorted out by then.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that, because we're going to talk about Colorado birth rates and the fact that birth rates are falling in here by, the 2040s, that we're going to have a larger dying population, and we are seeing people in your demographic get married later and even question as to whether or not they want to start to have kids. So if you have a chance, tune in at 9 o'clock with us, Declan. I appreciate that. I just want to figure out what that was, because we had a chance to talk to you. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Declan. A leftist calling the Jeff and Bill Show.
Love that.
Love that, too.
Yep, we take them all here. It's fantastic. You're all welcome.
It is. Very cool. And the fact he feels that you can call in and have a
And we had a perfectly
Good
normal
discussion.
conversation.
I
Perfectly normal
appreciate it.
conversation. Yeah, thanks, Declan.
With Colorado's crazy social conservative.
That's
right.
you, yes. And then I have no explanation. I can't even explain myself.
Let's talk Mountain High Appliance. Look no further than Mountain High Appliance, family-owned and operated for the past 31 years. If you're looking to upgrade your kitchen, laundry room, or outdoor cooking area, they have hundreds of appliances hooked up for you to have a true try before you buy experience. That's so important as I've gotten older. Like when you just, maybe it's just because I order so much off the internet and just shows up and you're like, oh, this didn't look or act the way I wanted it to. You can actually have a true try before you buy experience with Mountain High Appliance. They offer professional delivery and installation. Shop confidently with the price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best deal and special financing options. When it's time for appliances, think Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store. 3 locations in the Denver metro area or online at mountainhighappliance.com. mountainhighappliance.com. We got Pete Boyles calling in just a few minutes. Give us an update on what he's doing Wednesday. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Matt Crane's going to be joining us in the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to talk MTG's resignation and Colorado's birth rate decline by 2047. More people dying than being born. Yay! Welcome to Colorado. What is happening? We got a lot to talk about. Wednesday is the world famous Peter Boyle's Thanksgiving Day Parade special. Joining us now to give us a preview is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning. And I am in Sturgis, South Dakota. So to give you an idea.
Jealous.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Did you ride up there? Was it a little chilly?
No, gosh, it's really cold up here this morning. I've only seen Sturgis where you can't move for 30 years. And I sent a picture back to Billy, I think I did, of Vinny Terranova and I standing in Main Street, Sturgis. There's nobody. It's empty. And it's South Dakota is really a wonderful year-round place. It's a lot of pheasant hunters were up here, and now it's, now guys are up here hunting deer, and it's just, I was in a basement of a building last night that was built in 1880 in Sturgis. I mean, can you imagine what this place must have been like in 1880? And
that's 4 years after Colorado became a state.
That's right. That's right. And it was still a territory. And all the legendary people who came through here and still do on motorcycles. But boy, just a good history lesson yesterday. It was great. I love that stuff. You're right. The imaginary Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I don't even know what year it started. It was some idea that I had when the radio station creates all the sound effects, the marching bands, everything that goes along with a parade. The listeners become reporters, and we even have some additions. And I know you guys are getting some well-deserved time off. Billy and I are going to work the parade, and I'm just really looking forward to this. Ought to be a hell of a good year because of everything that's happened. You can't go wrong. If you had a year, if you had a year of no political action, but just Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning, how many floats is that going to?
Right.
How many?
And Trump and Mom Donnie holding hands as they walk down.
Yeah, you know what? Real quick sidebar. What do you guys do with that meeting? Because I can't hear you this morning. I'm up in South Dak.
Yeah, we talked a little bit with it. For me, I was surprised that there wasn't more of a professional wrestling Royal Rumble aspect, that they were cordial. They played politics. Two guys that had been standing there on either sides of the rope, calling each other names, then get into the ring and they shake hands and take the photos. That shocked me. But I think they both were playing, political strategy games. But that surprised me that given how strong and tough the language about the other one was when they're not in the same room, that it changed dramatically when they were in the same room. I found that interesting.
Jeff, what do you think?
It reminded me of when you have those two dogs on either side of a glass door, and they sit there and go, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and go real crazy, and then you open the door and they just kind of stare at each other.
That's a good one. That's very good.
It's just the kind of world of speaking into the media ecosphere and getting attention and pushing the boundaries. He's a communist. He's a fascist. And then you get together, and it's always a little awkward to do that directly to somebody's face.
And the real player in this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, you and I think the three of us talked about who's the face of the Democratic Party today. The Democratic Party today, the mayor in New York is the face of the Democratic Party.
Correct.
And I think that, what do you think she's doing? She's getting ready to make a run for Senate or run for governor?
No, she's done. She's politically homeless. And that just doesn't work. In this system, the way it's set up, you need to have a base. And if you don't have the party infrastructure, you don't have the base, you don't have the support, you don't have anything. So she's just politically homeless. And
so why does she do it?
I don't know. I think she's reloading for something in the state.
I
think she's going to go after a state office. I think that's what she's doing. But she's going to lay low. I don't think she's going to get in for the 26. I think she's going to see what happens in the 26th
Guys,
and put a
she
machine
seems
together
so
and run to the 28th.
burned by the whole political process. It reminds me of kind of the point that like Ken Buck reached, where you're just like, what the hell am I doing here with my life? I'm getting out.
Is she, or will she be Dick Cheney's daughter?
I don't know.
Cheney like politically homeless, and
right.
I don't think she's going to be. I don't think she's going to be persona non grata because she didn't make the cardinal sin of sitting on a committee that investigated Trump and his allies.
Okay.
So I don't think she didn't cross that line, but she's about as close as you're probably going to get. Without actually doing the Adam Kinzinger and the Liz Cheney thing. She's as close, I think, as you're going to get. Yeah.
And time will tell. She could. She very well could. You know, because here's what happens. Conservative media is not going to platform her anymore. The message has been sent from the big guy that we're moving on from MTG. So the only place she's going to find a voice is going to be with the likes of MSNBC. And then all of a sudden, watch, they start to go that way. Then they kind of whisper into her ear, you know, you need to condemn the president more. You need to call him out for what he's doing. And then they go down the full Liz Cheney route.
Yeah, it's like she's the poison tester. You're absolutely right. They'll bounce stuff off of her and see how she reacts. And that's what I think her next role will be. She now is a hero to the people that yesterday afternoon hated her guts.
That's exactly right.
What does that tell you about politics in our country today? You know, and she hasn't changed. I think she believes the same things. I think that she's the same woman that said all the stuff that made everybody nuts, and now she's the bad person. And I thought that was the real lesson in all of this, is how quickly, you know, the leopard does change its spots, but it doesn't.
Well,
and that's intriguing.
To that point, Pete, I think there's 3 avenues in politics you can take. One is the constituent service avenue, which means you get really fired up, like your passion is helping your constituents solve problems. And I think the best example of that is a guy like Mike Kaufman, right? Like Mike's just really happy to help people, right? It doesn't matter which office. He'll go here or there. He served in just about every capacity. He's just happy to help people. And he'll do fine there. The second route is to pursue like superstardom and become a major leader in the direction of your party. Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, Mike Johnston, those types of levels. And that requires a lot of devotion to fundraising. You can see Jason Crow going down this route, right? Like Jason Crow, I bet, hasn't taken a meeting with a constituent in years, but he'll travel to Arizona to do fundraising. So he'll go down that route. And then the third route is to find some little pet project that you really love that you can spend your time working on in Congress. Think Charlie Wilson, Charlie Wilson's War. I met a lot of these guys when I worked up there. They're not flashy. They just kind of quietly work behind the scenes because they have something like the treatment of Christians in North Korea, for instance. And they'll just quietly work there. With MTG, she had none of those, right? And so she's just kind of lost at this point.
There's a term that historians use when it vis-a-vis politicians, and the term is called belly fire. And clearly, you know, when we've watched politicians, Donald Trump has belly fire. There's no doubt.
That's right.
That Donald Trump has belly fire. Locally, I don't see Michael Bennett with belly fire. Do you?
No, not at all.
I'm pretty sure he wakes up, looks at the clock, and goes back to bed.
Yeah.
Well, but there are other guys. I think Polis has it, but it's dormant right now. He hasn't. But what's going to happen with Gerald Polis? You don't think this guy's not through? He's ready to go. I don't know. It's an interesting chessboard for all of us to sit around and watch, and who's going to come to the surface and who's going to make the run. But boy, oh boy, it's not going to. The parade will be beauty.
Yes, it will.
So much to talk about. It'll be
fantastic.
From 6 to 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Tune in, 710 KNUS. Peter Boyle's leading the world-famous Imaginary Parade on 710 KNUS.
And it started so long ago that I can't remember when it began, but it was always with acclaim. And I think we have some guest stars with us, don't we, Bill? I think you worked on that.
Yes, we are working on that. We should have a set of luminaries. We're kind of scrambling around. We're kind of nailing down the last couple right now. So, yeah, we should have some joining us every hour. Yeah. But, again, we want the listeners to get their floats together, too, because we need some help on this one.
Oh, but what's the great line? Something that it sells itself.
Yes, exactly.
You can't miss. Thanks,
Thank you so much, Peter Boyles from Sturgis, South Dakota, giving us a preview of the upcoming world-famous Imaginary Parade on Thanksgiving Day Parade on 710 KNUS. It kicks off Wednesday morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and you can call in and be a part of it. It is a ton of fun. All right, speaking of fun, we got Bill Thorpe and Monday's version of You Choose the News. Coming up, you're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's that time of the morning. We bring what you're really looking for. A little You Choose the News.
Yes, it's that time where we do something that is not on your regular bingo card. Okay, it is if you're paying attention because we can't. Okay, this is a secret. That's the whole thing. This is America's favorite fake radio news game show. You choose the news. Nobody in charge of KNUS has any idea that it's 6:50 in the morning. We take over the KNUS airwaves and do something that we are not supposed to be doing. Yes, we're supposed to be actually doing real talk and other things. And no, Jeff and I, when left unsupervised, are going to do something a little bit different than most. And that's where we invented America's favorite fake radio news game show. This is how it works. I have browsed the interwebs for moments this morning to find really dumb stories about us humans and then given them even more ridiculous headlines so that we can goof off here a little bit with you to kick off your morning, right? Okay, Blake Olson joining us from the news department. Gentlemen, here are today's headlines. Headline number 1, just in time for Thanksgiving. Headline number 2, reliving your glory. Headline number 3, island life is calling. And headline number 4, being consistent. Mr. Hunt, your choice, sir.
Island boy. I'm just an island boy.
Island life is calling. Here we find ourselves in Plano, Texas. Yes, we are meeting 2 young North Texas men that recently have been charged by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the area for a plan. It hatched a plan. Young Gavin Rivers Weisenberg, 21 of Allen, and Tanner Christopher Thomas, 20 of Argyle, were named recently in a 2-count indictment returned by a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Texas for conspiracy to commit murder, for conspiracy to maim or kidnap in a foreign country, and production of pornography. What did these 2 young 20-year-olds have in mind? Well, they had hatched a plan to invade an island off of Haiti, murder all the men on the island, and then use the women and children as their slaves.
Yeah, good luck with
yes,
that.
They had decided to do this.
Wow.
They had gone so far as to actually put together a plan to get to the island on a sailboat and bring weapons and guns and stuff they brought here. But who's going to help them in their plan? Because they were going to have to recruit some sort of a military force.
I know.
Yes, who?
The Clintons. No,
actually. Their brilliant idea is they were recruiting members of the D.C. homeless population as their mercenaries.
Wow.
Yes, they were going because we know the homeless is very trustworthy, and they're always going to once you take over the island, I'm sure there's nothing can go wrong. But
seems to be a lot of violence with them. But
they were going to assemble a homeless army and then transport them under their careful leadership and command to Haiti to take over the island, and then kill all the men.
Great.
Yeah, again. These guys not Mensa members, but yes, exactly. That's the thing.
It does help to be sober when you're.
It does when you're hatching these plans and stuff, and I just am like, wow.
Do they know witchcraft, by the way?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, though, is the guys had actually taught themselves the local language. They'd gone that far. They'd learned. Yeah, they learned Haitian Creole.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they thought they were serious about
Haiti. It was an island nearby Haiti?
Yeah, it was an island nearby. They're looking at one of the small islands nearby. Yeah, that's they're looking. They're going to take over the actual island of Haiti. It's too big. Plus, they can only get so many homeless to fight in their army. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Okay, Blake,
so
your turn.
grass is legal in North Texas.
Exactly.
Now,
a lot of it. Okay, here we go.
Jeez.
Was it Tortuga?
I don't know. I didn't look at what the name of the island was. I'll take a look.
Island?
Okay. Now, Blake, just in time for Thanksgiving, reliving your glory or being consistent?
Reliving your glory.
Yes, reliving your glory. Sometimes, you just got to go back to where it all started. 9 years after robbing a Fort Worth bank and serving time in federal prison, a convicted felon returned to the same branch just last week and tried to rob the same bank again.
You're kidding.
Only to be arrested yet again. Yes. 43-year-old Christopher McKay was booked on aggravated robbery and some local warrants after walking into the bank around 10 o'clock in the morning last week on Camp Bowie West Boulevard, claimed he had a handgun and demanded the money. He fled but was caught. Oddly, it's kind of easy because he had just robbed the same bank 9 years earlier and had gotten out of prison recently for the same robbery. So, again, just returning to the scene of the crime. I know. Jeez. I know. Kind of crazy that you're like, hey, I'm going to show up there again and try it. It went so well the first time. Why don't we try it again? Yes. Or maybe he was just trying to correct mistakes he made the first time.
Hey, there's one of our regulars.
Exactly. Hey, how you doing there, Christopher? Yes, I'll call the cops. Hang on right there. Alrighty. Jeff, just in time for Thanksgiving or being consistent?
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just in time for Thanksgiving. Here we find ourselves in Orange Park, Florida. This is going to make Thanksgiving this year a little bit awkward for this family. 8-year-old girl reportedly stabbed her grandmother with a kitchen knife to stop grandma from attacking mom with a knife.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Deputies were called to a disturbance 600 block of Reese Avenue in the Oak Leaf area of Clay County around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The caller, later determined to be the victim, the mom, was heard yelling to another individual to leave her home. Now, what had happened is her estranged biological mother entered the daughter's home uninvited through an unlocked door with a knife and tried to attack her. During the attack, the victim's 8-year-old daughter went into the kitchen, grabbed another knife, and stabbed Grandmama. Wow. Yes, understand that we have 3 generations of this family, all trying to stab each other at this point. Yeah, I know. Sounds like it should be some sort of like Netflix series. Yeah. Coming up this season on The Tiger King. Yeah, that's basically what it is. All righty, that's the end of You Choose the News. Back to you, Jeff.
Yeah, could all 3 of them spend time in jail for Thanksgiving.
Yes, they could.
Right?
Just not together.
We've got Matt Crane coming up, 7 o'clock hour. We're going to talk Tina Peters. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is KNUS.